Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Rear Admiral Stephen Barnett.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Aloha to everyone. It's truly a pleasure to be here with each and every one of you right now. I'm honored to stand in front of you. We talked a little bit about this year's theme, African Americans and the Arts. African Americans and the Arts. My intent for this discussion is not only to honor the profound contributions of Black people in America, but to also reaffirm this journey that we are on together, regardless of our color, of our sex, of our race, of our national origin. On this journey, though, it's imperative, and I want us to understand that it's imperative that we recognize that social cohesion must serve as our North Star. We have to be together as a society as we look northward. This guiding light will lead us through the darkness of division. It'll lead us through the darkness of discord. But done correctly, it will illuminate the path toward unity and the path towards understanding. You know, when we come together as a community, bound by a shared sense of purpose, bound by a shared solidarity, we, and I mean we, the collective we, regardless of our race, of our color, we're unstoppable in our goals. Unstoppable in our goals as a country, but also as a Department of Defense. At the heart of this journey, believe it or not, lies the arts. But what is art? The first thing we got to do is we got to describe what art is. According to the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, each culture has ideas and customs that they value. As such, artists are products of the culture and the society on which they grew. So as you heard, I grew up in Tennessee, so I have a little bit different look at art and culture. So we can surmise that artists are influenced by the customs and the norms of their society, where they're from and where they grew up. Often their artwork reflects upon and upholds objects, it upholds ideas, it upholds customs that their societies value. That's a long definition. I like it. It's okay. Being from Tennessee and kind of being a simple guy, I go to the dictionary, right? The dictionary defines art as something that is created with imagination and skill, and that is beautiful or that expresses important ideas or feelings. Okay, that's a good dictionary definition. Let's talk a little bit about some more history here. Socrates saw art as a representation of the natural world, and he believed that it should be used to educate people. I like that, art as education. He also believed that it teaches people two things, good or bad. So I definitely like that. But here's what I really like about his definition, is that it should be used for people to improve their lives or to improve society. The famous French Impressionist painter, Edgar Degas, said it best, and I think this is one of the best ones. Art is not what you see, but it's what you can make others see. Art is not what you see, but what you can make others see. One of my favorite authors, James Baldwin, stated in his essay, The Creative Process, that artists are responsible for addressing social issues. Artists are responsible for addressing social issues, essentially by holding a mirror to society. That's what art is. It's a mirror. His belief was that art can transform both the individual and society at the same time. But the key thing that he says is it's timeless. Art is timeless. It goes generational. Regardless of the definition, art has the ability to shape the world that we are in. More importantly, is to allow us to understand the world that we're in and our place in that world. It weaves together the fabric of our thriving democratic culture. Through music, through literature, through stage performance, through dance, and through visual arts, we find not only beauty and inspiration. And I would like to state that I can't do any of those things, okay? So I can't do any of those. I wish I could. But art is also a powerful means of storytelling. And more importantly, it's a tool for amplifying voices that were often silenced. Indeed, art has played a pivotal role in the fight for civil rights and social justice. We saw that here. Social justice has historically created visual and literary arts to capture the spirit and the platforms of resistance, and to share those messages to audiences, black, white, regardless of our race and of our culture, in many mainstream ways, outside of the mainstream ways. As such, art has been used as a platform for social justice throughout American history. From the soul-stirring melodies of the spiritual sung by enslaved Africans to the defiant brushstrokes of one of my favorite authors, Jacob Lawrence. And I hope that as I mention some of these names, that you take a second, you write them down, and you go to the Google machine and you look at them. Like I said, the defiant brushstrokes of Jacob Lawrence, the creative expressions of black people have served as a catalyst for change. The creative expressions of black people have ignited movements. And these expressions have helped shape the course of this country. Make no mistake about it, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for art. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for art. But the importance of the arts extends far beyond the role in activism, and I want to stress that. It's central to our understanding of ourselves and to the world around us. Similar to Hawaiian patterns, which are characterized by their intricate and symbolic design, art draws inspiration from nature, it draws inspiration from mythology, inspiration from culture, inspiration from the traditions and spiritual beliefs. Through art, we explore our humanity, we explore and we grapple with complex questions, the questions on who we are, of who you are. We explored how do we belong, but more importantly, art allows us to forge connections across cultural divides. That's what art does. By hearing and seeing these stories here, it brought us together. In doing so, we expand our collective knowledge, we enrich our understanding of the human experience, and what's key is we foster empathy and compassion for others. You know, kind of like I said, the older I get, the more I appreciate art. And all it takes is for me to see a picture from a photographer named Gordon Parks. And he has a display. And it's called I Am You. This shows a pretty young black lady with a beautiful young daughter. Both are dressed in their Sunday best. And they're standing under a sign that says colored entrance only. Two beautiful people. The colors are vibrant. The dresses are vibrant. The follow-on photos from this art display, from this picture display, shows the daughter drinking from a colored-only water fountain, right next to a whites-only water fountain. My eyes always tear up, and I get a lump in my throat whenever I see these photos. This is what art does to me. This little girl would have been about the same age of Addie Collins, Cynthia Wesley, Carol Robertson, or Carol McNair. You may say, who are they? Those were four young ladies that died in 15 September 1963 in the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in Alabama. A Navy veteran who served in Oahu. Now I gotta throw a Navy prop out there. He was in the Navy band. You may know him as John Coltrane. Conceived and performed a composition based off what he saw in Alabama that time frame. The name of the song is Alabama, and it was in response to that horrible incident. So out of something tragic came something beautiful. Art. My eyes always tear up and I get a lump in my throat whenever I hear that song. That's what art does for me. When I read a certain part of a book that won the National Book Award for Fiction back in 1952, a timeless book penned by a former merchant marine named Ralph Ellison. While he was on sick leave, he started a book. He started writing a book. The first line of this book was, "I am an invisible man." Ralph Ellison wrote the book, "I Am an Invisible Man." My eyes always tear up and I get a lump in my throat whenever I see that powerful book on the shelf in my library. That's what art does to me. Whenever I look at my favorite painting by a Coast Guard veteran, I don't think we have any Coast Guard folks in here, do we? Do a shout out. Somebody's got to pass this to him, okay? By a Coast Guard veteran named Jacob Lawrence. He happened to be in one of the first integrated divisions of the United States Coast Guard. First, when he entered, it was in a segregated division. But, you know, as we all heard, game recognizes game. His skipper saw him paint. He said, regardless of your color, we got to get you with everybody else. So he integrated that division. He painted a series called, it was on the war. It was on World War II. One of the paintings that he did was called Another Patrol. And I'm reminded of the service and the sacrifice of all of us in uniform and all of us not in uniform that support us in uniform on a day-to-day basis. See, this painting shows 3 black sailors. They got their sea bags and they're walking up the brow of a ship. Sea bag in one hand, toolbox in another hand, going on a World War II patrol. I think of the thousands of sailors, soldiers, the airmen, the Marines, Coast Guardsmen who've done this and who continue to do it day to day. My eyes always tear up and I get a lump in my throat whenever I see this picture. Because that is what art does for me. I have one question for you. What does art do for each of you? If you don't know, you probably want to find out. As we celebrate Black History Month, let us not only honor the past achievements of black visionaries and trailblazers, but also recognize the vital role that the arts plays and continue to shape our present and our collective future. Let us commit ourselves to creating a society where the arts are valued and continue to be celebrated. Together, let us forge a brighter tomorrow, one where social cohesion is not just a distant dream, but a lived reality for all. And we can do that through art. So I ask each and every one of you this weekend to go home, to think about what I discussed here, and to find out who your favorite artist is, regardless of the race, regardless of where they're from, and make that connection. I think it'll make us a better country and a better Department of Defense. Thank you.